Well, hello. It's been a while. I made this video because I did a webinar the other day that was great, and everybody's been asking me, sending me messages, how was the webinar? And I thought, hey, why don't I make a video where I can actually share how the webinar was, who came, what they said, what some of the comments I received online and offline were, and really the kind of program that the webinar is leading up to. So we scratched the surface during the webinar. There's more to come. There's a program that I'm running that I would love for you to join. So I'll tell you details about that at the end. But enjoy the video for now. Enjoy. I was speaking really fast, so don't mind in case it's really fast. Just try to keep up because I was trying to make it as short and sweet as possible. Hey, so I had a webinar the other day on how to design a delightful customer experience. And a lot of people who couldn't come for the webinar have been asking me how the webinar was. So I made this video so that you can see some of the things that people said, the kind of engagement that was there, and what the learning outcomes were. The webinar was live with me where I got to talk about customer experience, different topics. And for those who missed it, those who had registered and couldn't make it for the live session, they could watch the replay for 2 days after. And these were the learning outcomes. We covered understanding customer experience, achieving customer delight, and I also shared a new methodology that I came up with on how to delight your customers, and it works all the time. I'll show you the feedback from people even after, and a lot of the comments and messages I've been getting. So we did a roll call where we got to start with who was on the call, where were they from, what do they do, and we had such varied responses from people. We had an IT specialist, we had somebody who's a retail trainer, we had someone at the airport customer experience, which is really important. We had people in hospitality, we had people in healthcare, we had customer experience, people who manage customer experience for their organizations, and a makeup artist, which was really good. These were just some of the people who were there. There were quite a lot more people. And we also had someone who was very interesting from Senegal. She's a sex therapist. So we had an array of different people who actually understand the importance of customer experience. And I shared with them about myself. I love customer experience, all things customer experience, behavioral economics, and psychology. And if I wasn't doing this, I would be a fashion designer by day and a ninja by night. No kidding. And I'm pretty good at martial arts. So I talked about my journey. I won't bore you with the details, but the places where I've worked, the things that I've done, and my mission, which is to increase customer experience awareness and effective practice. Effective, most importantly. And on top of that, I had a gift for the people who came. So if you came and you stayed until the end, I shared with you a gift, which was really great, and people were happy to receive it. So it was great. So let's go to customer experience. So we talked about customer experience, and I talked about how customer experience is really the overall experience that a customer has with you across your digital and non-digital customer touchpoints. Versus customer service, which is the support given usually by a human being when they interact with somebody. So it could be at a single touch point. So it could be like the waiter, the kind of service the waiter gives you. But customer experience is really overall. It's everything from whether they're able to get parking, how your restaurant smells, the lighting, the mood, the Wi-Fi, the food experience, how long it takes to get the bill. Everything is customer experience. So it's important to have somebody who's looking at the entire customer experience, because every single touch point, every single bit that makes up the customer experience is key to how the customer feels when they leave your premises, when they're done with the transaction or the engagement. And we looked at touch points. We talked about the different touch points. So touch points of awareness. So your marketing, if you're doing any social media marketing, any above the line, below the line marketing, the awareness that you give to your customers, that's a touch point, because the kind of message that you give them should be congruent with everything that they find when they buy, when they come to your retail outlets, when they download your app, or whatever it is that you're selling. It should work together. They should all work together in harmony. And the next stage, how they consider you, whether they consider you with, whether they make the decision to buy, when they make the purchase, when they use your product, even things like how they unbox it, when they take it home. I'm usually so excited when I take home a new phone and just unboxing it and unwrapping it, and I save all these things and I read all the manuals. So all those are customer touch points. So we went over how you can address the different customer touch points and how you can make a delightful experience at the end of the day for your customers. And of course, don't forget after sales. Continue to engage with your customers even after.
And then we looked at customer experience versus user experience. So we looked at where user experience falls. This is a question that I get a lot. User experience is within customer experience. As I mentioned, customer experience is the overall experience. So user experience falls within that. How your application works, how your software works, how easy is it to figure it out? What kind of tutorials do you have for your customers when they buy the product? How easy is it for them to get help and support and all that? All that user experience is part of customer experience. Yay! And then we went to customer delight and we talked about how to achieve customer delight, because every time a customer interacts with a product, a service, an automated system, or a person, they judge how well that transaction was based on whether it helped them achieve their goal, how much effort they had to put into it, and whether they enjoyed the interaction. And we watched a couple of videos. It was really great. And we talked about the customer experience pyramid and customer delight and where we want to be playing in. So this is the area we want to be playing in. We're not looking at a baseline experience, which I showed the video to those who were there. I showed them the video of a baseline experience and a sub-baseline experience. And I talked about why it's important for us to aim for customer delight, for the exceptional, excellent experience, and what you get out of that. And then I introduced the new methodology that I've told you about that is simple, effective, repeatable, and achieves customer delight. And this is the new methodology. It's SEE. And if you're curious, I'll tell you more. But this methodology, I came up with it based on my experience in customer experience, what I've seen working for my clients, and a lot of study and research that has gone into it, because I was trying to figure out what process can be repeated over and over again, and when you boil it down, this works for different organizations. It's effective, but I wanted to make it simple. Gave it an acronym so that it's easier to recall. And then I copyrighted it because this is really important and I would love for more people to apply this. And we went into detail during the webinar. So the first S is solving the customer's problem. So we talked about this, how you make sure you're actually solving the customer's problem. It's not as obvious as it sounds. Sometimes people do provide services that don't quite solve a problem. They're just another me too. So we talked about innovation and how to solve your customer's problem, how to pick your niche, how to define them, and all those things. And then we talked about easy. And on easy, we talked about things that you can do within your organization to make the experience easy for your customers, because this is a great stepping stone for the next E, which is enjoyable. You cannot have an enjoyable experience if it was difficult. If there was friction, you reduce your chances of giving your customers an enjoyable experience. So we went into detail around things that you can do to make your experience S, solve their problem, E, easy, and enjoyable. And I highlighted the fact that delightful customer experiences do not happen by default. They happen by design. Things don't just fall in place and suddenly you have a great customer experience. It has to be designed. Every chip has to be put into the correct place. It has to be harmonized. It has to be congruent between one touch point, your awareness, all the way until after sales, the kind of information salespeople are giving to customers when they call, the kind of information you're putting out in posters and your advertising, is it misleading? What happens when a customer buys the product? What's their return policy if there's anything like that within your organization? So everything, how is the packaging? It has to be designed. It doesn't happen by accident. And we also talked about something really important, how you set and measure your KPIs, because what gets measured gets improved. And this is so true. And a lot of people asked questions around how do I measure? What's the right metric? And this is a topic all on its own. How you set your KPIs is really important. What you measure and how you keep iterating to keep improving, your KPIs and the measurement of them. And then I talked about a fun thing, which is the Customer Experience Academy that I run, and I personally teach people how to design delightful experiences for their customers. As I mentioned in my mission earlier, I want to spread the knowledge about customer experience, why it's important, how do you apply it for your organization, how do you do it repeatedly? And I don't make things complicated. I try as much as possible to simplify things, as you saw with C, to simplify things so that it's easier to do, but it's effective. And that really is what I teach. And then I coach I coach you. So I'll walk through you as you're doing your customer journeys, which is part of one of the modules, as you're learning how to apply C within your organization. So I do weekly coaching with you during the period, and it's great interactive it's group coaching, so it's interactive with other people who are doing the program, and it's great. You get to ask questions, you get to learn from others, you get to hear what experiences other people are having. And then another thing that we do is we are part of this network that I created. And this network is to connect people who are in customer experience walking down the same path. So if you're in the program, you get to be in this network of other people where you can share your success. What's working for you? What's not working for you? What challenges are you having? Hear from others, celebrate. It's a great place for you to just say, hey, I got to achieve this. I've been able to do this. Like one of my students who moved from her previous role and ended up in customer experience didn't really know much about customer experience, but I coached her and I helped her. And now she was able to make more sales within her customer experience role than the salespeople. It's really exciting. Come here, share screenshots, share with people. Let us celebrate you. Let's help you grow. Let's all grow together. And now we have comments from some of the people who came, and the comments were great. People kept engaging during the webinar. It was great to hear what people do. It was great to hear people helping each other and talking about some of the challenges that they have. So you can see Sarah there, who says that she loves the ease with which I demystified customer experience, which is really great. Winnie said CX has to start from the top for the rest of the team, including the guard. Whatever the boss considers important, then everybody else will. It has to be an organizational objective. I couldn't agree more. And there was a lot of discussion around the culture and around CX being the responsibility of everybody, not being the responsibility of one person or one department. And here, Winnie also mentioned that, yes, true cut, the problem is how people work in silos. And CX really does help to break these silos, because irrespective of which department, as long as you're building something that customers are going to touch, see, interact with, customer experience comes in to make sure that all the dots are connected, that between this department and this section and this person, they're all working together to make sure that they build something that the customer wants and can use easily and will enjoy. So there were lots of comments. Paul saying that those are very critical points. I won't read everything for you because, as I mentioned, I'm trying to do this within a short period of time for you. So Rita loved C, which is great. Akshay talked about charts and numbers. You've got to be able to explain what's driving the numbers, and that is key. When you set your KPIs, when you measure them, you've got to be able to figure out what the patterns are, to identify patterns and to justify what's driving the numbers, whether up or down. So we talked about that, smart KPIs. We talked about, I don't think there should be different departments. That's cut. The whole company needs to focus on the customer. Everything they do, they should keep the customer in mind. This includes the internal customer. Oh my goodness, Kat, like I'm high-fiving you right now. This is such an important point. Your internal customer experience is just as important as your external customer experience, because your internal delivers your external. If you take care of your people inside, they'll take care of your people, of your customers. So that's a really good point. And Paul there, who said, a delightful customer experience enjoyed by all in the company makes the world a better place. That is what I'm always saying, and that's my contribution. Like, that's what I want. I want the world to be a happier place. When you get served, we spend a lot of time at work. I want people to enjoy what they do. Then you go shopping, have a great experience, make it easy, make it enjoyable, and we make the world a better place. And then we talked about, so during the different types of customer experiences, we had Winnie, who said people are too busy protecting their KPIs, forgetting that the customer there, people are too busy protecting their KPIs, forgetting that without the customer, there will be no KPIs. Amen to that, Winnie. And Ochola says that that's not an option nowadays. And that's why I think Jackie's awareness project will help sensitize the importance. Paul, high five to you. Like, I couldn't agree more. That's why we're here. That's why we need to do this. And I'm happy. I was so happy to see the interaction, the engagement, the enthusiasm by people from different professions. Some who you would think, why is an IT specialist on a customer experience webinar? But customer experience is important for everybody. Sex therapist, like everybody, beautician, everybody needs to have, if you're dealing with customers, you need to have the knowledge to be aware and to know what to do to make your experiences SEE. Solve your customer's problem, make it easy, make it enjoyable. We had somebody from Instagram, I posted a picture saying thank you to everybody who came, and it was great to see that Just Wangeshi said it was a great session. Thank you so much for sharing your time and immense knowledge in this field. Thank you, Wangeshi. And we had, Aline was looking for the video. She said it shows how each person does their job. That's the video on the baseline experience where I actually showed the disconnection between different departments, how everybody's looking at their KPIs and just doing their job, which is not what we want. And then Paul also said that people sell to people, not chairs or animals. So with engagement sustainably and loyalty levels dwindle. So with no engagement, let me just read it again. People sell to people, not chairs or animals. So with no engagement, sustainability and loyalty levels dwindle. Got it. And Ochola said, I think each department within the organization needs to be trained on how to process how their process contributes to the overall customer experience. But yes, Ochola, yes, couldn't agree more. Then we had a lot of people who talked about they loved C. There were a lot more comments around C. It was really good, very insightful there from Boniface. We had, there's somebody who sent me a message afterwards telling me that it was great. It was a great webinar and his takeout was C, and that customer care would help increase sales. He's actually in sales, so it was really great to hear from him. From small shops to multinationals, customer experience will help improve the sales of your organization. And we had Winnie who said CX has to start from the top to the rest of the team, including the guard. Oh yes, I'd read that earlier. And how can we walk through? Oh yes, it's important to be prepared for the problem even if it never occurs. Oh yes, so it's important for you to design a great experience, but also to plan in the event that things don't go right. How do you mitigate this? How do you react to it? Or rather, not react, but how do you respond to it? Whether it happens or not, at least have a plan in place. And then there was a conversation that happened there where Paul was talking about Locust. It was great. It was really, really great. And Sheila there, she says the session was very informative and interactive. It was exciting to see so many professionals from varied backgrounds represented in the webinar. I was so happy to see that. And as I mentioned, people from different walks of life, few different countries. It was great to see the importance that the people who attended the webinar actually have for customer experience. So it was great. And then we had somebody who reached out to me on LinkedIn, Charles. He said, I watched the webinar. It was very well thought out. Congratulations on one point. NPS has lots of views, but also has gone a considerable revolution to improve efficiency beyond the likelihood to recommend. So NPS really just goes beyond the likeliness to recommend. And I talked about that and different ways in which you can use it. Lots of comments. There's Elias there who said his key learning point was the difference between customer care and customer experience. And he learned that customer care can be equated to a waiter in a restaurant. As I mentioned, the service you get at one touch point, usually with a human being, but customer experience relates to every touch point of the organization. Amen to that, Elias. And then we had Juliet there, who said the webinar was great. She listened to it on her way to work on Friday and watched the slides in the afternoon. Brilliant. She loved the engagement and the simplicity of the content presentation and the delivery. It was really, really great. And we just touched, we scratched the surface. There's so much more that I want to teach you. If you'd like to learn more, I'll put the link below this video. Just reach out to me. Let us talk. Let's see how you can implement SEE for your organization, how you can give your customers a more delightful experience. This is something that I'm really passionate about. I really want to share this with you. I want you to be part of the community. Look at Sarah. Sarah is a CX specialist. And she also she said, as a CX aficionado, I was quite impressed to learn the approach SEE as a way to wow customers. Thank you for reminding us that delightful customer experiences happen through design rather than by default. That is so true. And you can join this community, join this network of other customer experience professionals, people who are doing great things out there to make customer experience known, to give their customers a more delightful experience, to design processes that are in line and in harmony with making the customer experience easy, not complicating it. So come and join us. Join me as I walk you on how you can do this for your organization, design your customer journey, help coach you in your role, and give you the tools and the skills that you need to design and develop delightful customer experiences for your customer. I really look forward to hearing from you. You can book a meeting through, I've put that there, and my website is there, and my email address is there too. So you can book a meeting, you can reach out to me, just let me know, and I look forward to being your tutor on this important journey.